I think that's the difference between kind of building an alcohol brand where if you disappear, people aren't going to care, and creating a brand that really aligns to people's morals and lifestyles and values, where they're like, you make me feel something. You're creating a lifestyle that I aspire to have. I want to be part of this community.
Yeah.
And that's why festivals have been phenomenal for us. They make up 25% of our sales mix. We do it in a profitable way.
25%?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And it's a rinse and repeat model. We've done it every year for the last 5 years. Our community grows, our CRM database grows. The data capture is more cost effective than any out-of-home marketing campaign that you're going to be doing where people are just looking. Yeah. We can find them, capture them. We know they're enjoying Pimentae, and then send them straight to our trade partners and our retail partners.
And then the growth happens from there.
And that's the ecosystem.
Yeah, that's incredible. It must cost a few quid to do that though, right? And especially when you were starting, because you didn't know it was going to work.
We have, I will tell you another one of our horror stories if you'd like, and it is about the festival space. So we went live with Pimentae in March 2021, quit our corporate jobs like a couple of months after that. And then a festival in the Cotswolds dropped us a line saying, look, if you want to have a 10 by 10 meter activation space, run a bar, this is what it's going to cost, 20 grand. At the time, we had 10K in our account. I know this is the blind optimism kicking in again. We had 10K in our account. We put the remaining 10K on an Amex. I'd crunched the numbers based off of kind of footfall, some benchmark figures I was able to get. And I was like, if we do this right, we can generate 65 grand in top line revenue. So ideally, I think at the time it was like 30 grand in profit.
By the time you staffed it and...
Exactly, cost of goods, all of that kind of stuff. All of our advisors were like, do not do it. Me and Alice were like, no, this 60 grand sounds pretty good.
Were the numbers right if you look back at them now?
The numbers were right, yeah. The numbers were right, and it's because we were doing it in such a scrappy way as well. It's not like the build and break team that we've got now and the staff. Sure. We ran the bars, we camped for 6 nights, our friends from university were staffing the bars, and the most hilarious part about the whole thing was we had one product on the bar, a spicy margarita. That was it. And an orange juice and lemonade for the children that we were charging at £8 with an umbrella in it. Just, you know. I know, but Cotswold consumer.
Wow.
So
£8.
I know, daylight robbery. And we did the festival. That was the first festival we'd ever done.
Yeah.
And we hit the 60 grand in top line revenue. And the best and biggest learning from that was, one, we can execute festivals in a profitable way. Mm-hmm. The following summer, we went on to do another 10 to 15 festivals, Taste London. That was the first time we did it. And that was where Distl Ventures prospected us, because they said there are no brands in the alcohol space that are activating like Pimentae. We think that you guys are onto something with this kind of experience-led brand world that you're creating. Yeah. We later found out we outsold Patrón at Taste London because of creating this immersive. Yep. Jeez. And they had spent 250 grand on their activation, which was nuts.
Oh my God.
And that's why Distl was so interested in Pimentae. They were like, you've been able to kind of create something that these brands who are throwing £300,000 at an activation can't.
Yeah.
And that's when we realized that big budgets don't equal success. It's knowing your consumer, knowing your proposition, and creating an experience that is so sticky that people can't think of being anywhere else apart from there.
Where's the horror story in that?
Oh.
I was thinking that sounds great. That sounds like a great time. You made 60 bags.
So the horror story, it felt like a horror story because we had quit our jobs at that time. We had 2 months to figure out how we were going to run a bar, and we had never run a bar before. And it was that, I think, was the make or break moment, because we had no money after that. We had put everything into the pitch fee and leveraged that debt with Amex. And it was like it paid off. But at the time, cortisol levels were so high. And I just always just felt like there was something to prove to everyone that was a bit like, okay, like, how are they going to do it? And we did it. But that 2-month period where we were planning and figuring out how the hell you run a bar with like payment portals, I was like, I've got no business doing this. Like, what's going on here? How am I running a 10 meter by 10 meter bar at huge festivals? This makes no sense.
But it was a lot of fun though.
Honestly, doing it with our uni friends, serving everybody. We had the DJ there. It was just the best thing.
Yeah.
Like, watching our brand come to life in that way, I think me and Alice realized we're sat on a really good thing here. Like, if we can do that with just a spicy margarita, what can we do? And we've got an entire range, and this is developed, and we've got a build team. It was just like a little future look into the crystal ball of like what things could look like for us.
Well, I guess it's kind of the proof that the MVP works, right?
Yeah.
You kind of did it pretty quickly and understood pretty rapidly that it would work and there's legs to it. You mentioned Distl Ventures. For those that don't know, could you explain what that is?
Yes. So Distl Ventures is essentially a pre-accelerator program, and they are the investment arm of Diageo. And they essentially look at very young, early stage brands, some pre-revenue, some kind of just at ideation phase, some post-revenue. And essentially they look at brands, well, they look to bring brands into their program who they believe have, the criteria to potentially globally scale.